And welcome back to WZBN News. This is Mercer County Close-Up. It's been over 20 years since Phil Collins made famous the song Another Day in Paradise. Now, in the late 80s when that was a hit, there were about 3 million people nationwide that were homeless. Now, the numbers have changed in the 2 decades since, sometimes, shrinking, going up. Homelessness, however, remains a problem here in New Jersey and in Mercer County. Well, one of the alliances, in fact, the main alliance that helps to combat it on a local front, is gearing up 2 events in the next month, one of them next week, in fact, which will hopefully reach out to a lot of the folks who suffer from this locally and, get them to better situations. Joining us to talk about this is the Executive Director of the Mercer Alliance to End Homelessness, Mr. Herb Levine. Herb, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you, Mark.
Well, next Tuesday, December 20th, it's at Turning Point United Methodist Church, a very holistic event which will bring a lot of people together. It's geared, though, toward, combating homelessness altogether. What's behind the event?
This is our annual memorial service for those who died in the past year who had been homeless at some point. It's a very moving event. We have, I believe, over 10 people that we are going to be remembering. And the caseworkers who've worked with them have forwarded their names, and they will be there, and members of the board of the Mercer Alliance and the general public is open. The Turning Point Methodist Church has opened this up. They do a breakfast in the morning for people who have been experiencing homelessness, and then at 10 o'clock a.m. It's open to the public for a interdenominational service that really gets us to reflect on the potential of each and every human being and what a loss it is when someone dies in the state of being homeless. It means we didn't. It means we failed. We didn't succeed in getting them quickly enough into housing. But that's our goal, is trying to get people as quickly as possible off the street and into housing.
Absolutely, because as we were talking before the broadcast, when we lose someone to the unfortunate homelessness, malnourished, whatever the situation may be, it's a horizon lost, it's a universe lost. Many lives could have been touched by this person that unfortunately dies. The folks get a breakfast. It starts at, I believe, 8 in the morning. There will be, prayers said. Is there anything else, throughout the course of that day? Can members of the public, come? Can they help out? What sorts of efforts are you looking for from others?
It's a good day to to just come and show your solidarity with this cause. We're collecting winter things at this moment, so because we have an event coming up a month later, Project Homeless Connect, and so we need coats and scarves and gloves and hats. All of which we'll give out later, so that would be a good day. I think it's, for those who haven't found out about the Alliance before, it's a good day to find out that we are a group that has solutions, and that we don't just sit by and mourn those who have passed, but that we're proactive in reaching out to folks on the street and offering them alternatives.
Certainly. By the way, if you're interested in learning more about the Alliance, they can be found on the web at merceralliance.org, and you can also give them a call. Their offices, they're located locally, of course, 609-844-1006, and of course they will be happy to accept any donation, whether it's money or anything that you can provide, especially at this time of the year, to make someone's holiday season brighter. Now, you've also, well, actually, I know there's an event coming up in the new year as well, but your main effort is really tackling homelessness on a Mercer County level, and it remains a problem. I mean, talk about that.
Well, every year we do a point-in-time count in late January, so we know how many people were homeless last year at this time, and it was just under 900 people. We also look at a homeless management information system throughout the course of the year, and we see how many people are coming into our nonprofits that offer services and housing, temporary housing, shelter, emergency shelter, transitional housing, and so forth. So every year that number is greater than the number we actually count on one day. That's just a snapshot. So the problem is fundamentally the people who have fallen through the cracks, fallen through the safety net, if you will. But you mentioned the 1980s,
Yeah.
and that's really when, as a nation, we began reducing the supply of affordable housing.
It's too bad. Yeah.
So we need to think about this globally, that homelessness is a crisis of housing. It's the emergency room of the housing world, if you will. And we are there catching folks in an emergency and hopefully rerouting them into housing, as we have done through programs like Rapid Rehousing for Families and Housing First for long-term individuals. And those programs are offering solutions because people don't want to remain homeless. There's a misnomer out there. There's a misconception that people are mentally ill and they'd prefer to be on the streets. When you offer somebody a home, you're actually like an angel from heaven,
certainly,
coming down and saying, here's a home, and what's more, we know you probably need supportive services to stay in that home because you've been homeless for a long time, and you have given up on the people around you just as you've seen them kind of give up on you.
Right.
So we see new lives being formed by that. So as a community, we're trying to advocate all the time for more dollars to go into housing that is affordable, homes that are affordable to people of all income levels. And unfortunately, in the last few years, New Jersey towns have not gone forward to spend their money that they have for affordable housing because so much has been tied up in the courts.
Right.
Around this, and we need to break through that political logjam and say these are people's lives, and it's not acceptable for them to be living on the street.
Not at all. And I know that with Project Homeless Connect, that's one of the groups that's on board with, we talked about the January event coming up on the 24th. What's going to happen then? And, you know, Project Homeless's involvement is there as well.
Thank you. Project Homeless Connect is a biannual event. We do it in January and we do it in July.
Right.
And we're doing it at the Sacred Heart Roman Catholic Church on South Broad Street. And we definitely need volunteers for that event, and we definitely need donations of clothes and healthcare, personal hygiene products for that event. It is essentially a service fair where we bring all of the providers in Mercer County, government and nonprofits and private folks together for a day, and our local pharmaceutical companies support this event. So we can give a shout out to Ortho McNeil and Bristol Myers Squibb and Novo Nordisk. They're all supporters of this event. And we offer services and housing to people. I'll give you an example of a service. A lot of people who are homeless have lost their ID while they were homeless. So we have a program worked out with the Mercer County clerk, whereby for free we can work out getting a birth certificate, getting a county ID, so that person can access services. You can't go into a federal building without an ID, for instance.
No,
you can't
that's
apply
right,
for your SSI benefit and so forth. There are veterans organizations there. There are domestic violence organizations there. We also have local providers of massage, haircuts, people who really just want to come out and do something. So our volunteers during that day do a survey so that we can learn about who's homeless, what caused their homelessness, and they also hand out clothes and lunches. So it's a very wonderful community event because your heart is warmed by seeing all the people who want to do something. And, you know, we're delighted to be that group of people who can say, you know, we're trying to prevent homelessness wherever we can. When homelessness happens, we're trying to shorten the amount of time that people are homeless. And we shorten it by getting them rapidly into a home. And we're using government resources that exist and channeling them in that direction.
Great. Okay, well, we definitely wish you folks all the best with all of these efforts, and we really hope that, you know, with the holidays and after, that people continue to help. So we definitely thank you for your time today.
Thank you so much, Mark.
Absolutely.
Take care.
Herb Levine is the Executive Director of the Mercer Alliance to End Homelessness. Please mark your calendars December 20th and January 24th, 2012. There are two big events. For more information, visit them on the web at merceralliance.org. I'm Mark Fontes. Thanks so much for joining us. We'll see you again real soon.